Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I got this funky cool colored cat eye. So if you're interested in how I achieved this look, keep on watching. So as usual, I'm priming my face with the ABH Dewy Set setting spray, and I'm using the fan I received in PR to help dry the setting spray. It's actually really convenient because I usually sit there for 10 minutes because I always go overboard with setting sprays. I've been using brow pencils instead of brow pomades as of late because I kind of like a not as bold and serious brow, at least for right now. So the only thing I really don't like about brow pencils is that I feel like it takes longer for me to fill out my brow shape and that I have to press harder on slippery bases versus a matte primer. I need to get a restock of this Clinique foundation concealer because it's my favorite for carving out my brows. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I originally bought it as a foundation for my face via a recommendation from a friend, and when I tried it, it was just too pink for my skin tone. That was like a while ago, and I know they just recently added more foundation shades, so I might go check it out again and see what the new undertones are. Brow gels really stepped up my brow game because they really help tame my unruly eyebrow hairs and they help make my eyebrows look fuller. I'm starting off by packing my transition shades into my crease. Don't be afraid to use bright colors as a transition shade, especially if you're getting into colorful looks. You could still come out with really bomb looks without using a neutral brown or beige or whatever. I'm gonna warn you now, however, if you're using a color that requires a red, whether it be purple, pink, or actual red, it has a possibility of staining your eyes when you take the look off, so be careful about that. Not everyone is prone to staining your eyes. I am. So I know, especially after any look where I use pink and purple, my eyes are hella pink afterwards. So if you don't mind walking around looking sick the next day, that's fine. And it's honestly, it's never anything that a little concealer won't cover up. And the staining varies from brand to brand and shadow to shadow because it really depends on how pigmented the shadows that you're placing down are. The more pigmented the shadow is, the worse the staining probably will be. So now I'm taking the yellow shadow and I'm packing it and blending it in lightly with the pink shadow to get a beautiful orange gradient in between the shadows. Then I took a clean fluffy brush to help soften the edges of the transition colors that I put down. I didn't know exactly where I was taking this look yet, so me packing shadow into the corner of my lids ended up being unnecessary in the end because of the way I ended up cutting my crease. But you know, it's whatever. I like to freestyle my looks. So this is the part where the look that I had in mind ended up turning into somewhere else when I started to try and lay down the purple. I wanted to be like a purple smoky liner at first, but I didn't like how it looked, so I ended up blending it in to the rest of the pink. As I've mentioned before, purple is like notoriously difficult to blend out, so to kind of cheat blending purple, I lay down a purple and then I kind of blend pinks and blues together to get kind of a purpley color without it really being a purple that I'm attempting to blend. I hope that makes sense. This part probably took the longest for me just because I've had so many bad experiences with purple, so my advice to you would be to do your best, go slowly and lightly blend purple shades out till you get a seamless kind of blend. I always talk about how bad I am with purple, and yet I keep using it in all of my looks, so clearly I like the abuse, so don't mind me. So I'm using the brush to start to create a wing for my cat eye, and it doesn't matter right now that it's not like the sharpest, because I'm gonna take some makeup remover and start cutting the crease, and then I'm also gonna try and cut the wing of the look to get it as sharp as I can. I started using makeup remover to start cleaning excess product off of my lids, because I realized that when I do this, I don't get as much cracking as I do when I layer on everything on top of each other. And if there's no cracking, that means that my looks hold up longer. So I'm cutting my crease as usual, but I'm cutting it all the way out to the corner of the cat eye because I'm gonna be packing on shadow all the way out to that corner. And as always, I'm gonna be making a really weird face the whole time that I'm cutting my crease.
Missing someone is as normal. Missing someone and missing someone.
So in the spirit of making things up as I go, I decided to leave a little negative space in between the cut crease and my lid. So I took a tiny detailed brush and some blue and I lined where I wanted to place the next part of my eyeshadow on my lid. Even though the small detail brush is very helpful for precision, I still recommend you go very slow, because even if you try and do this part quickly, you could still mess up, like I did at some point later in this video. So like I mentioned before, I try and fake purple before I actually try and use purple. So I'm taking a pink and packing it over the blue, which is giving me a nice purple transition that's easy to work with and blend out. I cleaned the brush a little and went back in with the pink on the end, so now I have a more defined pink and a nice gradient from the blue purple into the pink at the end of my lid. So I noticed with Anastasia eyeshadows that it's better to pack on the eyeshadow like I'm doing here and like lightly tapping it into each other versus like actually swiping and blending, because when you actually go and you swipe these shadows, since they're like so pigmented, they end up becoming patchy the more you start trying to swipe it into each other. So I'm going to be taking the pink all the way out to the end of the cat eye while also leaving the same kind of negative space I did in the front of my lid. So that's what I meant when I said you need to be careful when using the tiny detail brushes, because I got too ahead of myself and I messed up. And it ended up messing up the blend that I had going and I really couldn't fix it. But I made it work, but it wasn't as good as it was supposed to be. I didn't record the process of me fixing it, but I just tried to repack on the colors that I used before, but it just ended up leaving like a little patch where I left that white eyeshadow, and it didn't show up too much on camera, but I could see it. But you know, stuff happens, it's fine. I love Pat McGrath products, even though I really have no business buying her stuff. But her pigments, like her shimmers, are so nice and very unique, to be honest. I don't find a lot of other shimmers like hers. I originally tried packing it on with the brush, but I ended up just using my finger just because it was easier and I got a lot more payoff using my finger. Majority of the rest of the video is me finishing up my base routine with just some bronzer and some blush and some highlight. I was trying a new blush here and it was okay. It was super subtle, but it wasn't what I really wanted for this look. I wanted something more bold. It was the NARS Orgasm, if I remember correctly, and I ended up going back at the end and applying a different blush. Oh, and something that I did here that I don't normally do, and I didn't end up showing it on camera, was I also took my eyeshadow base and I lined it against the bottom of my eye and up into the cat eye to help the pigment of the shadow stick a little bit better to my base. I always set my base after I lay down my concealer because I crease like crazy, but in this case it kind of worked against me because I ended up having to go back and reapply something tacky for the eyeshadow in my waterline to stick again. Here I'm lining my waterline with the blue creme pencil. Nothing special there, I just like lining my eyes with a blue pencil because I feel like it helps make my brown eyes pop. And now I'm just applying some lashes and I'm wrapping up the look. These Fenty Stunna lip paints, this combo is currently like my favorite nude combo. And I didn't want the lipstick completely matte, so I left some of my lip gloss that I had on before on so that when I applied the lipstick it would stay a little glossy afterwards. This is when I decided to go back and add a more bold blush for the look because the other one before, it was nice, but it just wasn't doing it for me. Ooh, look at my wig telling on me right now. This is the finished product. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you liked my tutorial, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Hit the like button, leave a comment if you feel like it, and thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Bye.